Part B. The mortality rate is the death rate divided by the total cases. Multiply times 100 to express this as a percentage. For example, on 23rd of February, 2,618 deaths over 79,205 cases equals 0.033. Expressed as a percentage is 3.30. Add code that iterates through the data array to calculate mortality on each day. Create a new one-dimensional array to hold the mortality data. Okay, so let's break this up into two parts. This will be the first part, and let's try this first. So first we want to iterate through our data array and calculate the mortality for each day and store it in a new one-dimensional array. Okay. So going off the exact same file, so we start down here. I think my spacing is a little off. Okay, so continuing from part A, we first want to create a new array to hold the mortality rates. This is a decimal, so let's create a double array. And we're storing the mortality rates. Okay. And this should be of size, same number of dates, so we can initialize it like this. This way, if we add more dates, then this gets resized automatically as well. Okay. So now, we want to iterate through our data and calculate the rate for each day and store it in this mortality rates. So, same like in part A. Do this. Okay. So now we want to iterate through each row of this data, and then to calculate the mortality rate, we need the number of deaths and the number of cases. So is this the total cases or... Yes, deaths over total cases, not daily cases. Okay. So, let's do this. No, this is an int. Okay. Let's create a temporary integer array called row to store the row we're at, so it makes it a little bit easier to read. Okay. And then we need the total cases and total deaths. So int equals data, or let's say this is our row. Row at 0, this is the total cases, and then same thing for total deaths. Okay, so now we have both things we need to calculate the mortality rate per day. So now we say mortality rates at I, because this is for the ith row, right, is equal to total cases over total deaths, or was it the other way around? It's deaths over total cases. Okay. Cases. Okay. The important thing to remember is that this is a double, but these two are integers, so if you divide like this, you're going to do integer math, and you're going to lose some precision. So we can fix that by casting one of these numbers to a double. And then to get the mortality rate, this needs to be multiplied by 100. Like so. So, because we cast here, this division is now double division, And then we do, we actually don't need this 0.0. It's already going to do double multiplication here. Okay. Yes, and that looks about right. Let me just make sure this works. So to test if this works, I'm just going to print out this at 0 over here. Okay. This looks about right, 3.30. Right. Let me give an example. Yeah, 3.30 is correct. Okay. So if the first row is correct, it's probably correct for the rest of them. And then so do the same as above to create another array for the percentage of all cases represented by the daily number of cases. Okay, and new cases and total cases. Okay. So daily cases. So we do something similar here. Actually, I can copy all of this over. Or actually, we can reuse this loop. So this time, on top of the mortality rates, we also need to calculate the daily cases. We'll call this daily cases rate. Daily case rates. Same thing, new double. Okay. And then so to calculate the daily case rate, we do new cases over total cases. So here, total cases is equal to row at 0. Oh, we already have the total cases. I need daily cases, which is row at 2. Okay, daily cases. And then we copy this line again, except this is the daily case rates, which is daily cases over total cases multiplied by 100 again. So let's try print this out instead of the mortality rate at 0. Uh, 0.69. On February 24th. So this is the second day. Let me try and print out the second day's data. 1.10. That looks correct. Okay. So I'm just doing a little incremental checking to make sure that my data is coming out correctly. And then the last part for part B is we need to write a method called getAverage that takes an array's input and returns the average. Okay, so this is simple, and this should also work for any arbitrary array. So outside of our main method, we create this another method, public static double, because we're returning an average, so it should be a decimal, so we use double. GetAverage. GetAverage to take in a double array. Okay. So to calculate the average, we need to do sum over the number of items. So because, yes, this needs to be a double because these are all doubles in here. So we'll create a variable sum. And then now we need to add each element in our array to sum. So we're totaling everything. We can use an enhanced for loop for this. Double. Let's just call this x. For a double x in array, sum plus equals x. And then to return, we want to return the sum divided by the array length. Okay. So calculating the average is super simple. You total all the elements in the array and divide it by the array length. And then we want to print the average mortality and average daily cases. So, mortality. And then same thing. So let's create variables for this. So we want the average of mortality rates. And then we want the average daily case rates. We don't want the average daily cases, it's the rate of increase. Okay. Daily case rates, right? Okay, so we use our method to calculate both of these, and then we just print them. And then we want to print that little percent at the end, right? Yeah. Okay, so let's test this out. Okay, average mortality 3.42, and average daily cases 2.11. I think these are not correct, but these should be correct. And you can use a printf if you want to format these to 2 decimal places, but these are the correct averages. So we first print out our data, then we calculate the mortality rates and daily case rates for each date, calculate the averages using our getAverage method, and then print those out.